What's happening, everybody? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. Let me crank up the light a little bit. I didn't think it was going to be this low. Hold on, real quick. Let me crank up the light. Oh, shit, don't trip. Okay, here we go. And there we go. I'm a black dude, so I have to crank up the light. Appreciate everybody for watching me live right now. If you don't know what I'm doing, ESPN just concluded its 10-part documentary series, The Last Dance, that recapped basically all 6 seasons of the Bulls championship, but more so that went into the final season of the Bulls championships the Bulls NBA championship, and their dynasty run in 1998. This has been something that has gripped people for all 10 episodes for the past 5 weeks. First and foremost, it sucks like hell that we ain't gonna have nothing to really look forward to for a while. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing really there to watch. So I figured I'd come on here. Hopefully people will start joining in. Thank you, everybody that's watching live right now. We'll start talking about it. Also, I want to talk about what other dynasties, we'll talk about it later, but what other dynasties should they do series on or are worthy of them doing series on. Also, if you want to get your questions in, you can get your questions in at streamlabs.com/JAY Washington 80, streamlabs.com/JAY Washington 80. Shouts out to IMAX watching right now that's in the chat. He says, man, that was a great trip back to high school and up until I moved to Atlanta. Excuse me. Thank you for that. Man, I've said this tweeting throughout the entire documentary, every episode I watched. It brought back so many memories. Being there, being from Chicago, born and raised, living in Chicago throughout all 6 championships, living especially through the first one, like the city went crazy. And it was just surreal. And then watching the other subsequent ones was something just beyond greatness. Now, I also like the format they did where they spotlighted various people within that organization. So you would spotlight Michael, of course, the majority through a documentary because it kind of was his doc, but it was the teams. Scotty, Steve Kerr, Dennis Rodman, John Paxson, Phil Jackson, and so many others, Horace Grant. And you would see things from now back then for the process, the evolution, the story, the journey in which they came from. One of the ones that really got me that I didn't know much about was Dennis Rodman's journey. To know that he was homeless and, sleeping in backyards and everything like that, it was crazy to hear this story because we all know I first got introduced to Dennis Rodman when he was on the Pistons, of course, because he's whooping the shit out the Bulls. And then watching him on the, Spurs, and then him coming to Chicago and helping us win, then joining WCW, because of course I was a wrestler heavily and a major fan still of both products, and watching him on Nitro and shit like that, and then seeing Karl Malone show up. So, but to hear his story and even to hear how Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan understood him, I think that's one of the biggest things you take away from that is that they understood that Rodman may have this reputation. Rodman may have this persona and this perception in which everybody believes he is. But when you can find a common ground and bond with him and understand him, it takes it to a whole new level. And I think that gave me a whole new level of respect for Rodman. That was one of the things I love because, like I said, I didn't know much about the person. I remember the quote-unquote attempted suicide attempt in Detroit. I remember hearing that. I was still a kid, though, but I remember hearing about it. I have a pretty good memory for a child. And no, I'm not opening the beer, by the way. I'm opening the sparkling water. I'm bougie. Don't judge me. Streamlabs.com, again, /JAY Washington 80. I like to talk about, first, Michael Jordan himself, because there was a lot of focus on Mike, as there was going to be. Let's just be realistic. This is a Michael Jordan documentary enveloped in the Bulls dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Enveloped in the Bulls dynasty. To watch his upbringing, to watch how he came up, how he went from a player that was highly touted. He was touted okay, but then nobody really thought about him. Then all of a sudden stepped his game up and his work ethic up in college to become one of the most highly sought after players potentially out of the NBA draft, and to become his airness, the greatest of all time, which we'll have that discussion later. I'm going to make sure I write that down. The GOAT, because I want to make sure we get into this. Because I know me, I'll go off rambling and I'll forget shit. I really appreciate seeing Mike's hustle, ethic, and drive. And more so than anything else, I appreciate seeing Michael's drive to push those around him to elevate themselves. You get what I'm saying? Not to just say, hey, you're a good player. Hey, you're great at what you do. But like, yo, you can be better than this. And I know it. And if we're going to compete at this level, you should be better. Even hearing the story about him and Steve Kerr when they got into it, how, you know what I'm saying, he pushed Kerr in the chest, Kerr stole off of him and shit like that. You hear these things, and people were literally going, I was reading Twitter back then, all throughout all these episodes, and people on Twitter would be, oh, Mike's a tyrant, he's a bully, you know, the way he would harass players and keep them from food and this, that, and the third. And if he kept people from food, I was like, yo, that's kind of bogus. It's kind of bogus. But at the same time, to watch him push players, because again, players would come in. He talked about how Tony, I think it was Tony and Steve. No, not Tony. I think Steve and Secret and a couple others. I can't remember directly. Excuse me. Came in off the Bulls championship runs. They were coming in off the legacy that the Bulls had already done. So it's like, yo, you're not just going to coast off what we've done. You need to make your own way in this as well. Granted, we want to go back to being that team, to being that legacy, that dynasty that we were. We want to continue that, but you're part of this now, but make sure you earn your spot. And I think that was a great thing. I think that was inspiring because when you have a team, whether it's in professional sports or in business or in art or whatever the case it may be, you should always have those people in that circle that will push other people around in that circle to be better. You should have that person or persons who drive the passion out of everyone else. I think that is a big thing. Let me see what we got over here. We got that yet over here in Streamlabs. Okay, I'm trying to check everything. Also, I'm dealing with a broken laptop, so waiting on a charger to come in for that. So that's rather frustrating. But there is a lot to talk about. Horace Grant and him, how he talked about how Mike told him to man up when it came to that battle with the Pistons, because the Pistons were beating their ass. Now, I know a lot of people, we compare, I am one of those, we compare the league of then to the league of today. And we definitely say the league of today is hella soft. And I definitely agree. Why? You can't even do a hand check without it being a foul. And I understand you want to preserve the longevity of the athletes. I understand you don't want them being bruised and battered. I got that. I got it. But at the same time, this was a game of gladiators. This was a game of warriors. This was a game where you had to earn 100 points a game. You get what I'm saying? This wasn't one of those given every game is 100 points for each team at least. You had to earn getting 100. And I know that may not sound like much to a lot of people, but that's what you had to earn. I also just really liked the philosophy that a lot of players had. Some just had that killer instinct. Some just wanted to prove they wanted to be the best. And for me, one of the ones that stood out that I don't know if he proved he wanted to be the best because his actions didn't show it was Scottie Pippen. Now, Scottie Pippen will go down as arguably one of the greatest small forwards in history. That is no doubt. There's no question about that. But seeing what we saw throughout this documentary, the migraine situation, the contacts, the back. Now, I get a migraine. I understand a migraine. You know why? Because I get them motherfuckers all the time. And when I get them, they are crippling. When I get them, they will keep me down. They do distort your vision. They do make your focus hard. You're sensitive to light. So, you know, what you get during a migraine is real. But also, there's no way to prove it. You get what I'm saying? So I can tell you I got a migraine, and guess what? You just have to accept that either I have a migraine or I don't. There is no, man, you ain't got no migraine. Let me see what happens. No, you just have to go off what I say and basically how I react to the things that which migraines cause you react to, like I just stated, like light, you know. But I don't know. But also when Scottie left out that game because he wasn't taking the last shot and Tony Kukoc was, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Like, we all felt a certain way about Scottie Pippen one way or another, especially being a Chicagoan, especially watching him being a part of the Bulls dynasty and what he, you know, helped to create. But to know that you sat out a play because you were mad the last shot wasn't going to go to you. So you went whole bitch mode and whined and cried, and then had the audacity to say, if I could do anything different again, would I do it differently? No. Like, what? I understand now you got a chance to step up and be the man because Michael Jordan is gone. Now this is your team. This is literally your team, and I understand that. We also know that you are a great facilitator. You move the ball around. You're not the greatest scorer. You're a great facilitator. You can score. But to sit there and tell your coach and basically your team that you are not going to come in because you ain't taking the last shot, that's a whole bitch move. I put the call out to a couple of homies to see who wanted to come on here. And one of my buddies is going to join me. He's like my brother. I just saw him posted about it. I didn't know he was going to actually watch this because I figured he wasn't going to watch nothing dealing with Chicago teams, but he did. Y'all know him and love him. You've heard him on the Man Titan podcast with me. So it's the homie BC. What up, bro?
What do you mean I'm not going to watch?
No one can.
Can you not hear?
Why are you on a delay?
What do you mean why I'm on a delay? I don't know. I just plugged this
in.
Oh,
now you're good. You're good now. Whatever you did, now you're good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good? Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. You all right? How do you think I'm not going to watch this, bro? Calm down. Calm down.
Here's why the hats don't do much. And I'll tell you why. They sell Chicago Bulls hats everywhere and for everything. And I'm like, every time I see one as a Chicagoan, I'm like, are you really a fan or did you just buy that hat?
Okay, well then, this is very unprofessional, but I'm going to move this around. See if I can show you this real quick.
I hope we ain't finna see no book. Okay, all right. Okay, so you are a fan. Okay, I apologize for questioning a fan.
Basketball has always been like before wrestling. Basketball was a sport I loved. I was never good at it. I was terrible. I was only reason I was anyone because I was taller than everybody in grade school. And I watched a lot of Dennis Rodman. So I rebounded and acted like a punk.
If you can't get things in through Streamlabs, you can definitely do the super chat on here as well. If you're in the YouTube comments, you can definitely do the super chat. Excuse me. Sorry about that, BC. Go right ahead.
But yeah, man, it's just growing up. Like I remember watching Jordan come to Dallas to play the Mavericks at reunion here. And it was just one of those things that you're just drawn to this guy. And he really was a larger than life personality before we really like had the ability to really be those kind of personalities. He changed the game. He changed everything about it. And this documentary was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. I wish it would go on every single week.
You just said something that brought up a real good point about him being a bigger than life personality. And it's one part of the documentary where we see he's in his hotel room lying down and he literally says, this is the only time I get to rest. This is the only chance. And he's like, even I don't want to be MJ. He even says it at a point. He's tired of being MJ. And I saw a lot of people in the comments on like Twitter and Facebook and whatnot going, why wouldn't you want to be MJ? You're the man. You're the dude. At this moment, you're on top of the world. But I don't think people understand what that entails. You know what I'm saying? Like to be that level of an athlete, to be that level of a celebrity, that level of a superstar, and to have a family of your own. On top of that, it's draining.
The realest moment to me about the whole thing was when they mentioned like there was a grocery store that would stay open late just for him to come because he can't just go grocery shopping. Like, you know, you don't get to do that when you're someone like Michael Jordan. Like, you don't get to just go out and do things because you're
crazy about that too. You know what's crazy about that too? My bad for cutting you off again, bro. I got a bad habit in that. But this pre-workout I took earlier is all in my system right now. I worked out like 3 hours earlier at the crib. Took that pre-workout. Boy, this shit is still going. Okay. No, the thing is, like, people always assume that a celebrity like that just wants special privileges. And it's like, no. That man could not walk into a regular grocery store, try to get eggs, butter, and maybe either some shit he likes to just have as his cheap day meal without a bunch of people around him, hounding him.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just crazy, man, to know that he had to live that life and still was able to perform at the level he was able to perform at. Like, that's absolutely insane. And like the things that drove him, like just someone coming up and going after they lost the game, one of the dudes going, hey, good game.
Ladarius Brown from the Bullets. Let me tell you something. If we didn't learn anything else about Michael Jordan, look, there's a lot of things people knew about Michael Jordan throughout this documentary. A lot of people knew and had heard that Mike can be an asshole. I've always said this to people who know me. You know, in my personal life, I know Michael Jordan. I used to know Michael Jordan directly because not because I worked at the United Center, but because my aunt and his ex-wife Juanita used to bowl. So I knew Mike, like I know how Mike is. So when people like Mike can be an asshole, first of all, y'all saw it. We all knew it. But Mike can be petty. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. I know that he said eventually that it wasn't true that what happened, right?
Yeah.
But to sit there and make in your head that a rookie said, nice game, Mike, and you took it as nice game, Mike, and decided to destroy this little man's career.
And in the point when they was about to play the Sonics, he's like, I'm at a restaurant, their coach is there, he leaves without saying hello. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go off for 3 games straight.
So George Karl, the two dudes who played for the Suns, who were Jerry Krause's boys, he embarrassed them solely for the fact they were Jerry Krause's boys.
Dude, in the Olympics.
In the Olympics, he decides Tony Kukoc is just trying to prove he can be with some of the greatest athletes in the world. He has a chance to show for his countrymen and the world that he is an elite level basketball player. And Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen decide to say, fuck this dude, and go clean in on him. Like, we saw Michael's level of petty that I don't think anybody would ever imagine seeing. I don't think anybody ever imagined seeing that. Also, you learned that Michael Jordan owned every pair of wide leg jeans that were ever off the presses. Michael Jordan had the first pair of every wide leg pant had to go through Michael Jordan's approval. And like you would have to, before you decided to make more to sell, you'd have to send the first pair to Mike and say, Mike, what do you think about these? Are they wide enough? And he like, yeah, no, they ain't wide enough. Make them wider. And you like, Mike, you know, some shit should fit you. And he like, no, wider. Michael Jordan had the most loosest long suits in history. You know,
bro. One of my favorite things is as I go and I rewatch old WCW and WWF Monday Night Raws and Nitros, watching the crowd and the style of people of us back then. Mm-hmm. Looking at Michael Jordan and some of these, I was like, Jordan, what are you wearing, my dude? And you just go, oh, yeah, that was a 90s shit.
But at the same time, you know, because we knew what the 90s fashion was. And, I mean, granted, we talk shit, but them suits cost hundreds of dollars. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? To be that wide. Like, okay. All right. What else did I write down as notes I had? I got Scottie Pippen, a ho-ho. We talked about that. Reggie Miller. I know we just saw this in this last one. I want to, first of all,
how clutch that motherfucker was.
What?
I forgot how clutch he was, man.
Oh, Reggie, there's no doubt Reggie Miller.
God, I was just like, oh, Reggie was so good back in the day, man.
There was never a doubt Reggie was clutch. That was given again. As a Chicagoan watching the team for Indianapolis play as well, got it. Reggie Miller was clutch. And again, had a dope-ass squad that year, like he said. Yes, they did. Dope-ass squad. However, first of all, you don't talk like that to Black Jesus.
When he go, I never called him Michael again. It was either Jordan, Black Jesus, or that black cat.
Nobody else felt offended like I did. Like because the way his voice sounded saying it, that black cat. Like, Nick, I felt like this was a scene from Django that got cut out. Like, I felt like he was in the house sewing shit together for Calvin Candy. He was like, you know, they got that black cat over there. And I was like, why does it sound like Stanley from Friday? Why is nobody saying nothing about this? Like, Dude, it really upset me. I don't know why it just vexed my spirit. And that is something the old black mother would say. It just vexed my spirit. I don't know why I was like, why listen to Reggie Miller talk? I was like, nigga. First of all, also, can we talk about this 91st? Also, I still have yet to see Reggie and Cheryl Miller in the same goddamn place at the same time, okay? I've yet to see them in the same place. You are not going to convince me by the power of God that those are two different people, okay? I believe in my heart that Reggie has a split personality disorder. He's like James McAvoy in Splitting Glass. Basically, he puts on another shirt or something, and then he hoops, and he thinks he's hooping against a person. He's actually hooping by him damn self. I don't believe it.
That's messed up, bro.
It's not. It's fucking true. There's so much to talk about with this. What did you think about hearing about the infamous flu game that we now know wasn't a flu game?
Oh, that's crazy, dude. Because I don't know if that's never came out about anything. Because I just always knew it was the flu.
Yeah. Well, I'd always heard it was a hangover.
Oh.
We had heard it could possibly have been a hangover.
See, I always knew the flu because we have the Dirk Nowitzki championship game where he had the flu. So I was like, just like Jordan, that's what's up. But now to find out, man, you probably shouldn't. 5 people come deliver your pizza.
Bro, I don't give a fuck how late it is and how hungry this thing is. If 5 people come to a door with one pizza, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
Yeah.
There's no way you gonna tell me 5 motherfuckers that deliver the pizza. And you like, this don't seem right, but Mike, go ahead and join. Nigga, no.
And how everyone goes, none of us ate it, but Mike.
None of us took it, but Mike just go ahead and down it at 3 in the morning. He was like, Look, I got a lot of friends in Salt Lake City I've met through being there several times. For FanX Salt Lake Comic Con, I'll be doing a panel for them this week. I got a lot of fans out there I've met, and they've been dope. But as a whole, to Utah Jazz fans, you from henceforth and now forevermore suck the back of my dick because you all poisoned that man. Okay, you poisoned his. Do you understand how petty you got to be to know that your team? You believe your team can beat them originally, but then when you realize it might not happen, you poison this thing.
Yo, this man wants a pizza. Poison that shit. Put some of that.
Also, there's questions that weren't asked. Okay, so we called around and we finally found a pizza shop, right? And so we ordered the pizza. If you're the assistant, and you're ordering a pizza late night for one Michael Jeffrey Jordan, do you say, hey, I need a large pie, sausage, cheese, mushrooms, onions, and this is for Michael Jordan? You don't tell who the pizza is.
My question is, how was it known that it could, because they always said he used an alias when he checked into hotels. So there's no way they used his real name to order the pizza. So I don't know. That's that one.
Because it was like, what? Like, how do you explain knowing? And also, you knew, okay, because of course you have the order, so you know where the room is. But how do you know it's Michael Jordan's room? And how do you know? Now, it's no secret probably that, this is where the Bulls stay. Because it's just like every year where Mania is, or whenever, not just WrestleMania, any live pro wrestling event, whenever they come to your town, somehow, some way, God only knows, fans figure out every single time where the wrestlers are staying at the hotel.
Yeah.
Don't understand it. It's very fucking weird. I don't think people understand. That's hella creepy. Like, I've been able to go hang out at the hotel because I got buddies that take me like, yo, come at the hotel. And I'm like, you sure? You know what I'm saying? Like, you sure? But you see, you hear about that. But to know five let me tell you something. The south side of Chicago with me would not have accepted 5 people coming to the door, me looking out the peephole. Because I'd have counted that and I'd have been like, all right, so here's the problem, Mike. It's 5 niggas outside. So what we're not going to do is open this door, okay? What we're going to do is somebody going to go in the bathroom, call 911 and tell them you have Michael Jordan probably about to die. Now, the police may be Jazz fans, and they be like, well, right. They're like, if Michael died, he ain't going to be able to play, Jazz will win. But at the same time, if Michael died in Salt Lake City, we might not ever have a team again.
Michael died in Salt Lake City. That's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. It's like, what? What?
Not a good look on us. Let's go make some saves here.
I don't get it, man. What was some of the other highlights throughout this entire documentary?
One of my favorite things was actually two things. Number one, the episode about the Bad Boys, because it made me realize that 90% of today's NWA or in NBA would not be around.
Wait, not where?
Look,
I want to know where you're right.
If Dwayne Wade,
hold on. Here's how hip hop or wrestling your brain just went. Because you attributed to the Bad Boy Pistons, to niggas with attitude, or the National Wrestling Alliance.
I watched Straight Outta Compton 2 days ago again.
So that's exactly.
I watch it like once a month. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, go ahead.
But the Bad Boys, like, they would destroy. We would not know who Dwayne Wade was if he had to go up against the Bad Boys. He wouldn't be a player. Kevin Durant wouldn't be a player. Steph Curry wouldn't be a player. Hell, James Harden wouldn't have made it up against players like the Bad Boys, man. Those guys, the Jordan rules were sick. I was like, Jordan does not leave the ground. What? Hold the fuck on.
Wait, hold on. I got to show you this comment I just saw in the chat.
Bro.
Jussie Smollett should have hired the pizza company. What the fuck?
No.
You know, I thought I had more I wanted to talk. Oh my God, that was brutal. That was brutal. But go back to we said the softness basically of the league.
Yeah, like today's NBA would not survive the Bad Boys.
It's amazing too how so many people will argue that certain players could have flourished in that league. And I do, like I said earlier, the league is different. There is a much smaller, tinier league. There are maybe 4 or 5 people in general that are built with actual, like, the stature somewhat of what we saw back in the day. Like, everybody calls LeBron James a hybrid of Magic and Karl Malone. I've heard that a lot of times. Maybe not everybody, but I've heard that a lot.
I've heard that.
But again, these were two bigger dudes. And granted, everybody, these were grown men. Even coming in after they, saying they take the offseason, they put on size and put on real muscle and real weight. And these guys now in the NBA, they take the offseason and they go and do something.
Who knows?
They just do cocaine.
I have been saying, I think LeBron would be able to hang with the Bad Boys because
do you really?
He's a bigger dude. He'd have to stop flopping, but he'd be like Kevin Garnett would have been able to hang with him. Chandler,
but why do you say? I want to know why you say LeBron would, because I have a counterpoint to that.
Really, you don't think LeBron would be able to?
No,
I think LeBron would be able to, because if you look at LeBron, like, he plays with today's NBA the way today's NBA plays, but he's also a physical dude. Like, he's a big motherfucker.
Yes, he is.
He ain't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He ain't small. He played football. He could have been. He was almost a tight end. Like, dude could take some hits. He doesn't take the hits, but I think he can.
See, here's why I disagree with you. Yeah, he could handle the physicality, but we've also seen throughout his career currently, not even in the later stages, even just in the earlier, when he takes a hit, it can affect his game. Yeah. And granted, it can affect anyone's game, but he takes it and he balls up and he whines and cries. You saw Jordan taking hits and was like, all right, bet.
Let's go. Yeah.
I mean, except for Horace Grant, who was about to start wincing like a bitch, and Michael said, don't you fucking let them see you. Put them goddamn tears in your face. Like, how do you tell somebody, don't you let a motherfucking like,
put them glasses on, hide them tears.
Let me tell you something. Do you know how hard it's got to be for somebody to walk up on you and you just got elbowed in your kidneys? You probably pissed on yourself a little, and a grown-ass man is walking over to you with his teeth clenched like, well, if you don't want your motherfucking ass out there, don't you fucking cry, let these niggas see you crying. Fuck wrong with you? Get your bitch ass up. Get the fuck up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you had that, but I don't think LeBron would be able as a whole to handle the physicality. I don't. I mean, we see the way his game is played. And granted, yes, I will say this before people start going in the comments now or later that superstars get certain rules and superstars get certain privileges. I get that. We saw that with Jordan. There is no doubt about it. We saw it with Kobe. We see it with superstars.
Mm-hmm.
However, they still have to play through. And I don't. Go ahead.
I think LeBron plays like that because he can in this league. I think if he was forced to play against a more physical league, I think he would have been able to handle it.
I think I know that's a great what if, and so shout out to Chris.
And that's what all this is. It's all what
it's all hypotheticals and whatnot. Shout out to Chris Lee again, who says Kawhi, Giannis, and Russ would have fit in nicely. I'm not 100% sure about Russ. I mean, Russ would be ready to fight. I know Russ would be ready to fight. That's a given. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if he would have 100% fit in directly with everybody else.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things I also think needs to be talked about, because we've talked about the main players. I mean, it's evident you talk about the main players, but the genius that is Phil Jackson.
Dude.
And I don't think, I mean, we give him credit, but I'm not sure we really, until that episode, got to really understand the psyche of that man, how he works. And just from seeing how he worked with those seasons with the Bulls to translate what he did with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. And what's really good, like the most telling moment of all this on Phil Jackson is showing that last game there where, you know, Jordan steals the ball and he's immediately like, "Oh, we're not calling a timeout? Good. We just gonna go." And Phil's like, "I knew, you know, we call a timeout. That gives them time to talk. Nah, go out there, do you, you know?" And it's just because he had trust in, he had coaches. He knew where his players were. He knew his team, and he knew that, hey, we got the ball now. Y'all know what to do. Let's go. You know,
I think that's something people forget. Like, you have a great coach, and I'm not taking away from a lot of the coaches we saw, Chuck Daly, George Karl, all Larry Bird, all the different coaches we saw. I'm not taking away from, but it's also a sign of a legendary coach. When you realize your players on the floor can make something happen, you don't have to call timeout to set up. And that's what we see a lot in today's game. Like, you have your players who potentially can make something happen on this floor, but you'll get a coach who's like, timeout, let's set something up. Instead of like, yo, just go with it.
Yeah.
If it comes, it comes. And that also to, you know, like I said earlier, understanding a personality like Dennis Rodman, understanding a Michael Jordan, understanding a Scottie Pippen. That takes a lot.
The Dennis Rodman thing is something that I absolutely love. Because, you know, a lot of people, you know, Dennis was the problem, Dennis that. Nah, you just let Dennis be Dennis. He didn't show up to practice. He was gone all night. He went to WCW, and then he showed up and balled out. Like, oh, he was good. See, he played.
Let's not talk about the Dennis. I need what was it, 48 hours in Vegas? Dennis don't show back up for a week. And also, let's talk about the fact Carmen Electra, who still to this day looks good as hell.
Damn.
Like, y'all talk about people who have sold their soul to the devil, right? You talk about people who have joined the Illuminati, people who have done things to keep themselves youthful and pure. We go for Pharrell because Pharrell's a vampire, Smokey Robinson because he's 960. You know, you got people like that. But then you have the Jennifer Lopez's who has 2 babies, and if she's had work, you can't see it because you can't tell. That's good Puerto Rican genes. And then you get Carmen Electra, okay? Carmen Electra, we know has partied, okay? We know Carmen Electra has done all of the cocaine that was available to her.
All of it.
All of it. We know Carmen Electra drank all of whatever she wanted to drink. We know this. And does not look like any of it has affected her. And I say that because we see so many other men and women who have lived those lifestyles. And later you just see it and you're like, fuck, that was what keep you away from some shit. You'd be like, oh, what happened, Lord? And you see that. But again, for Phil to understand Dennis and for Dennis to be the type person where he comes into practice hungover and outruns everybody. Like, I don't think you'll ever have I don't think there will ever be another player in the league, in any league, like a Dennis Rodman. What you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I loved that episode where it would show him like just sitting on. He'd have people just shoot, and he'd just sit on the basket and watch the ball, watch the trajectory of the ball. And I'm like, dude, that's such like I wouldn't even think about that. And how his mind works is absolutely incredible. He really is. He was a freaking genius. Like,
and I think that's the thing I was going to say. I don't think people give him credit for that. Yeah. That is genius level to say, all right, so I know if he shoots, it's going to spin. So when it spins, it'll roll off that way because if he shoots from that side, or if such and such shoots this way, to see that. That's something, if it wasn't for this documentary, we'd have just thought, man, Dennis Rodman's an amazing rebounder. We'd have just chopped it up to that. Like, Dennis Rodman's great at rebounding. That's all we know. We didn't know the skill set he had, the IQ he had behind it.
I'll tell you, Jay, in our profession, we meet a lot of celebrities and people, right? There have only been 2 people I've ever met that have had me starstruck, and Dennis Rodman was one of them. Like, that guy is there's just something about him. He just sucks you in, and his energy and everything is just on a whole nother level. And, I've had people say, listening to talk about how he was a problem, and he never really was. And you talk to him, he seems like a really nice. Every interview, he seems like one of the coolest people.
Mm-hmm.
He just, liked to have fun too. So,
shouts out to El Ray saying Rodman showing up with the NWO during the finals is legendary. It is. Let me tell you something. Before everybody always started talking about Allen Iverson going practice. We talking about practice. That shit should apply to Dennis Rodman.
Exactly.
Like, that shit applies to Rodman. Like, you miss practice to go be a member of the NWO, and nobody thought twice about it. Was like, ain't this nigga got a championship game to go play?
Wait, wasn't he in Utah last night?
What he just on the
and to know that led to him in a tag match against Carl freaking Malone.
Which, okay, so let's talk about this real quick. Was the tag match with Malone was during the season as well, right? Or was it later?
After. I think it was
after Malone. Okay. Because I was like,
because I remember when I saw it on here, I remember that tie-up where they're fumbling, they keep fumbling over each other. I remember that being a big key point later on in that story.
That's what I was going to bring up because I was trying to remember where it was in the story, but.
So this was Rodman just showing up at WCW, and then they had that moment where it was like, yo, we can get Karl Malone too and do something with this. Because I'm in 97. I'm in July of 97 right now watching Nitro. And this is when Rodman first showed up in the interview. And then he leaves and then comes back during the freaking finals.
That's also, I want to switch gears real quick. I want us to take a moment of silence to send thoughts and prayers out to Scott Burrell, because I don't know. I'm not saying nothing's happened to him as of this documentary is airing. I just don't know if he's living a normal life or in hiding, because for Michael Jordan to tell you, Scott Burrell, after tonight, if I see you, I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to whoop your ass. Do you understand how this was before the game, before they won the championship? I got to go play on the court with this nigga.
I'll see you again after tonight, killing you.
Because Mike is serious, because Mike literally looked like, I don't like you.
He's sitting there talking to him, and they just...
Scottie Pippen ain't shit. Scottie like, well, that's on you. You need to handle it. Like, I don't know why I made Scottie sound like a slave. I don't know. I'm so sorry. But there's on you, boss. You just got to do what you got to do. Michael's making good plays on the team, okay? I was not knowing my back's going to hurt. I've been working on my back all day, Jesus.
Another moment, I don't know if you already talked about it, that really stood out to me was Space Jam.
No, I haven't gotten to Space Jam, but we can talk about Space Jam, because which part you want to talk about Space Jam?
This is what I loved about this. I noticed it, and Michael Jordan was this before The Rock said it. And The Rock says, be the hardest worker in the room. That was Michael Jordan before The Rock made that popular. You know what I'm saying? Rock goes on these movies Warner Brothers builds him a gym. He has a gym everywhere he goes. So when he takes a break, he can go and get a pump in. He can work out. He can get ready for the next thing. They built Jordan because he was just coming back to basketball. They built him a basketball court on the Warner's lot with a gym in it. So that dude would show up to film at 6. They would break for lunch for 2 hours, to which he would go practice. He'd go back to filming until, like, I think they said 9 or something at night. And then all the greatest players in the NBA would come to the Warner's lot, and they would pick up basketball for another 3 or 4 hours. And what no one's talking about is like, yeah, man, we're all hanging out playing ball. And I was studying all of them because there was a lot of new players, and so I get to watch how they did this. And I'm like, that motherfucker brought y'all in here so he can learn how to beat you.
So he can learn how to. First of all, bro, let me tell you something. This is the thing I think you're also forgetting how cold Michael Jordan was. I'm pretty sure that not a damn single player from the NBA that came to hoop with Mike had to get to LA on their own dime. I'm pretty damn sure Warner Brothers bought all of the tickets, flew them all out because you had to appease Michael Jordan.
Look, also, bro, I'm playing ball with Bugs Bunny. You're gonna fly my friends to play against me.
I got to do all this shit on a green screen and say somebody's drinking Michael's secret sauce, like, which really sounds disturbing in itself. What you drinking? Michael's special sauce? No.
Not.
Can you imagine playing Mike that season, that upcoming season, though, and him knowing what to do because he's watched you while he's hooped with you? That I would be like, this nigga set me. I'd have sound like Marion Barry on the court. Bitch, set me up. Like I'd have sound like Mary. Like yes, Lorraine. GOAT things. That's things the GOAT can do. Yes, only. I don't know. I mean, I know actors like you said with The Rock, they build him a gym, but also he's The Rock. You can find a way. First of all, I want to know if they are actually going and buying weights. Or they just gather, because like that'll be kind of crazy. Like every studio, like, so we got to spend $100,000 on weights. Why?
I think with The Rock, it's at the point now that they just got to pay to move his gym wherever they're filming.
Again, can you imagine being the moving crew? Like, so we had 4 days to try to move all this equipment. Well, it don't look like a lot. It was just a lot of weight. A whole lot of weight.
Because you know
how much weight was it?
Every piece of equipment known to man.
How much weight was it? It was over 1,000 pounds on one machine. And it's just me and Steve, okay? And Steve.
Me and fucking Steve over here.
Me and fucking Steve. Steve's back ain't been shit since 83. So Steve.
And I'll also say about Space Jam is I didn't realize that they modeled Swackhammer after Jerry Krause, but that's pretty damn obvious.
Okay, that's another person we need to discuss in this. I'm glad you brought him up.
Like, is that not like me watching this documentary before they even got to Space Jam? I was like, yo, they modeled fucking Swackhammer after this motherfucker.
Yes, they did. Jerry Krause will arguably go down as one of the greatest and worst general managers in NBA history.
How are you both? Like, how did you accomplish that, bro?
How do you do that in a span of 8 years? Like, because that's when the time from him making the greatest to the worst decisions ever happens.
Yep.
You bring together a dynasty. You're winning. After Mike retires the first 3, understandable. I'm tired. I've been doing this shit nonstop. I need a break. Okay, Mike, what you gonna do? Go home and chill? No, I'm gonna play baseball. Nigga, what? Okay, cool. So, because that should have been the conversation. Like, what you gonna do? I'm gonna play baseball. Nigga, excuse me? Fuck it. Okay. Because you just wave your hand because it's Michael Jordan. You just, whatever. Do you. You get Mike back. They go on winning 2 more championships. Then you and Jerry Reinsdorf like, yo, so I got a plan. What's the plan? blow this shit up. Because that's basically, and I get the philosophy behind it initially, saying you never know how much longer they got in them. That's fine. However, you don't tell a bunch of motherfuckers before the season starts.
Yeah. Like, shut up, bro. Like, I felt that. I felt that so hard because we went through that. We won an NBA the Mavericks won an NBA championship, and then they was just like, all right, y'all can all go. Like, wait, what? Hold on. What are you doing?
I was going to say for the record, I was about to ask you, what the fuck did you win? Because it's like you ain't win shit. Like, yeah, like, okay. Shouts out to IMAX. God bless the dead, but Krause's ego got in the way. It absolutely did. But again, you come and you tell Phil, yeah, listen, I don't give a shit if y'all go 82-0 this last season, fam. Why do you tell somebody that? If I go hypothetically, if he goes 82-0, yeah, here's a blank check. Fill out the amount you think you should get on here. Like, and then to see Mike's, I think it was also interesting to see Mike watch the video of Reinsdorf talking about it that he had never heard before.
Yeah.
And for him to say, well, they were beyond mark, they're beyond value that we just weren't going to pay, which I understand their value shoots up because absolutely it should. But like Mike said, if you offer all of them a year, they're going to take a year. For Mike to say he had been playing on year contracts.
Yeah.
Year contracts. Like, how do you... I understand, like I said, I understand players do get old. I understand that you do have to rebuild. But how do you sit there and just say, no matter what happens, you are breaking up this team? And what again, you're mad because the eyes are on the team and not you as Jerry Krause. Yeah. You're mad because the attention is going to the players who are earning this and not just the general manager. Yes, who rightfully made the decisions to pick up players. That's fair. But you're not on the court busting your ass 48 minutes a night.
It's a crazy decision, man, and to see them go, like, yeah, we wanted to go win another one, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, they probably could, because if you think about it, that next season was the lockout season, right?
Yeah.
So they even if hey, they're older now, they're getting up there, and they don't got to play as much.
They get a bridge season.
Yeah.
So Justin Simmons says, right? Us Mad fans were so hurt after our championship team was so quickly disbanded.
Hell yeah.
I don't get that. I don't get what like I said, the ego, yes. But what would make you think that you have the greatest player in the game who literally showed you? This is the one thing that Michael did that really surprised. Michael came back after playing baseball, did not have a basketball body. His physique was changed. Cool. Mike recognized that. And immediately after they were eliminated from the playoffs, the next day goes back to train himself to be the Michael Jordan of old and does it successfully. Now the question becomes, is Michael Jordan, does he have the gas? Well, he does, but does he necessarily have to? You've built a monster team around him of role players.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be that 89, 91, 92, 93 Mike. You know now what you need, and you've done this. Now, Scotty, you got to ask him, hey, all right, so besides you being a basic bitch, what's it going to take you to stay?
And he was still going to sign whatever contract you handed him, because he just apparently goes, yeah, I'm just going to sign that because, okay.
Because I think, like I said earlier, I think this really has sullied the legacy of Scottie Pippen, too. I must say that.
Really?
Like, I'm calling him from here on out, ho, Scottie Pippen.
Oh.
Oh, what?
I think it added to him, because that you really do see that he truly was underpaid like a mother. And he was still just sitting there and doing what he had to do.
I know I'm with the underpaid part.
Season, he was just like, nah, I'm gonna sit this one out.
Bro, I just saw your ugly ass feet. Please don't do that no more. That's not looking at my stream. Please don't. Ooh, Jesus. I understand that Scotty wasn't getting paid what he was going to get paid, and he took the money because he was like, I got to take care of my family. All respect to him for that.
Yeah.
Because he does. I mean, also, but that comes with the belief in yourself. You got to realize, yo, I'm worth this money. After a while, he did start realizing that. But at the same time, initially, when I got a migraine, like I brought up earlier, we don't know unless, saying nobody knows how you feel. Contact situation. My back is spazzing so bad, I can't go out there. Mike, I'm done. I'm hurting. Can you have him rub my booty before the game? Like all this shit, because it says a lot.
So I mean, you think Scottie Pippen was Dwayne Wading it? That motherfucker Dwayne Wade got on a wheelchair for a dislocated shoulder. All right, come on now.
I mean, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Emmitt Smith finished a football game with a dislocated shoulder, but Dwayne Wade has to get a wheelchair to take him to the back.
He was going to be eventually doing Gatorade commercials, BC. Don't you fucking understand?
Fucking guy.
But, I mean, okay, now IMAX just said something. I definitely agree with you. No Scotty, no rings. MJ said it. No, there's no doubt about that. There's no arguing that. That is never going to come up as a discussion. It's never going to come up as an argument. There's never going to be that. It's just his behavior.
Yeah,
makes you look at him different. You get what I'm saying? It's not him as a player, because of course Michael Jordan said in his Hall of Fame speech, everybody who's watched those championships happen. No, without Scotty, Mike doesn't get it. Mike gets close, Mike doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But you have that. So all that said, because I only want to do about an hour on here, got to have this overall discussion at the end. This brings up the GOAT discussion again. The greatest of all time. Now, there are three people that people consistently, excuse me, Satan didn't want me to start talking about this. There are three people that this discussion always entails: Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. I honestly believe from the bottom of my heart, after this documentary, there is nothing you should be able to say to anybody to try to compare anybody else to Michael Jordan as being the greatest player of all time.
I think before this documentary, there was no way you even attempt comparing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan changed the game completely. Michael Jordan, there is no LeBron James without Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not. I mean, LeBron James is nowhere near what Jordan was. Jordan was an icon well before, and at a level that is unprecedented. And to bring up Kobe, dude, I'm not that episode.
Let me tell you something. That was another. I forgot to bring that up, and I'm glad you brought it up. That's why I have you around, because you bring up subjects I didn't have a chance to talk about.
Yeah.
You're actually good for something.
Go me.
Go now. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
But like when they bring up the argument of Kobe and Jordan, he's and Kobe, they have that interview with Kobe, and he's literally like, Jordan would call me and help me. There's no me without him. He's the one that got me to where I needed to be. And that's the mentality that Jordan was. Jordan made everyone else a better player. All right. Being on his team you didn't win because you were on Michael Jordan's team. You won because Michael Jordan made you a winner. Didn't accept anything less. And I think that's the difference between LeBron. LeBron is a great player. Don't get me wrong. I think LeBron is one of the best to play it. But LeBron doesn't make you better. Jordan made everyone else better.
I agree. I mean, that episode with Kobe, I think a lot of people were expecting it to be an entire episode, but at the same time, again, I know people were thinking like it's going to be a whole episode, but you can't. It couldn't be a whole episode, first of all, because I know people wanted it to be a complete tribute to Kobe. We got the memorial to him, but even though, because Kobe's death first and foremost was sudden.
Yeah.
It was sudden. The documentary, as it was stated and as it was shown, was already planned.
Yeah.
They were still editing the last episodes of the documentary while it was airing, because that's why the initial date was June. It wasn't just because of the finals and everything. It was because they would be able to be done. So they had to rush and finish it. But to go back to having Kobe, like what Kobe said, without Mike, there's no me. So I think that Kobe can be 2 or 3. But when people keep going LeBron versus Mike, there's so many people to this day will not accept anything less than LeBron over Mike. And the best analogy, I've said it on Blurs, I've said it on Game Time, I will say it here on my own fucking channel. If you go to a woman's house 6 times and she lets you smash 6 times versus you go to a woman's house 9 times and you only smash 3 times, which one is the better legacy?
You blew my mind, bro. That's the best analogy I've ever heard in my entire life.
I hate to use it like that because I don't want people trying to come at me as the wrong way. But again, I'm like, fuck your feelings. But it's a weird analogy, but you have to. It's one of the best hood analogies I can come up with because again, throughout all the nerdiness that you see behind me, throughout all the great 9 times I'm trying. Hey man, everybody ain't trying to chill. Like, stop. But I mean, granted, but that Jordan never lost in the finals. Never. Mm-mm. LeBron is 3 for 9.
Yeah.
And again, people are like, well, look at LeBron's scoring record and look at this. Again, the league is different.
Exactly.
The league is different.
Now,
is that LeBron's fault? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the fact that he can score at a whim and don't have to earn it many times, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You about to say something?
No, I was just saying, someone brought up the argument to me that like today's NBA, while it is, softer, it's a quicker paced NBA and it is a more athletic NBA. And I don't doubt that at all, but I still think that even in today's NBA, Jordan would stand shoulders ahead of everybody.
Yeah. I agree. Jordan is to see what he went through. Regardless whether it was a food poisoning, a hangover, or a flu, I don't think LeBron would have ever been able to play a game like that.
Mm-mm. No, I don't think so either.
To literally be struggling the first half, and then all of a sudden have something go, his airness engage, and start destroying.
Well, duh, he drank MJ's special sauce. That's what happened in that game. He drank the sauce and then when played.
Yeah, but you see them scores. Yeah, like every game is 137 versus up to 115. Everybody
that would throw me off. I keep going, God, I forgot how low scoring the NBA used to be.
Yeah, but that was the thing. It was very low scoring, but you had to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the thing that kept the league interesting. It wasn't just the fact it was low scoring and some would say slower. You earned every shot you got, every point you got, you earned it. And I'm not saying you don't earn them in today's league. I'm not saying if anybody just starts saying, they don't know what the fuck are you talking about. I'm not saying that's saying that at all. What I'm saying is it's way easier for anybody to score.
Yeah.
Anybody. Then I saw this one. I don't know. Jordan never played a team like the 16 through 18 Warriors. Well, here we go. All right. So sir.
Again, if the 16-18 Warriors were back in playing against the Bad Boys, they wouldn't score a fucking basket because the Bad Boys would have broken everybody's fucking neck. Like
the only person who might have stood a chance, the only 2 people who might have stood a chance were Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green. The only 2,
maybe
because of the size.
And I think Curry would have been shut down. Like Jordan would have been like, nah, hold up, let me take Curry.
So
that would have been one of those. Oh, okay, I'm gonna show you what's up.
So shouts out to Randy Constance for the super chat, man. First and foremost, I appreciate it much. You can drop super chats if you want me to make sure I see what you got going when we have these discussions. He said 84-82, 88-82. Golden State Warriors scored 90.5. Not in my NBA. I agree. Also, here's another thing, and shouts out to Chris Lee for this point. The Warriors also never played a team like the 88-89 Pistons.
Exactly what I was talking about.
So that's one thing too with this league now. There's a difference, and this is something we saw throughout this documentary. Teams didn't give up.
Mm-mm.
They played to the end. in this league now, you literally see when the heart gets sucked out of a team early, and it affects the rest of the game. Those teams, because yes, we were talking about Hall of Famers, people who eventually became Hall of Famers during that Bulls dynasty and going back, they played to the end. They played with drive. If we're gonna lose, we're gonna try to lose by as less as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we down by 12 or whatnot, we're gonna try to pull it back. So I don't know, man. I'm happy we had this documentary. I'm happy the world got to celebrate again a team a lot of us grew up with. From, like I said, for me being a Chicagoan, to showcase and highlight my city. Y'all, if you know me, you do, of course, and many others, I'm all about my city no matter what. I'm all about Chicago. I'm Chicago born and bred. That is why this hoodie is red, black, and white. It's my other supervillain hoodie is black, white, and red. These are Bulls colors. I'm all about my city. I'll say it. They said it best. Lorenz Tate said it in one of his video. We own the 90s. Chicago owned the 90s. The Bulls mainly. Facts. But at the same time, Chicago's still one of the greatest cities in the world. People love to go to Chicago. Now, granted, all the bullshit going on, summertime shy ain't gonna be like it should be. Because let me tell you something. Nigga was going to Chicago for the summer, and I was finna go act like a straight hoe. I was finna be ratchet as fuck in these streets in this Chicago. So I think the coronavirus was God's way of saying, Jay, sit your black ass down. Because I was finna be dick slanging and elbow throwing in these streets. I don't know what they got to do with each other, but that was the combination I was doing.
That's what was going to happen, though.
Wait, so Randy Constant said elite spacing and skilled players today, plus athletes are bigger, stronger, and faster.
I don't know about bigger.
I wouldn't say the bigger part. I went with that. Even with bigger, I won't say stronger. I will definitely agree and say they're faster. They're absolutely much faster than they were back in the day. Absolutely, that's a given. We see the pace of the league.
Yeah, I bet some of them can throw up some more weight than they were because I think they're on weights more now than they were back in the day.
I still need somebody to give Kevin Durant a protein bar to take.
In fact.
Like,
look, and I'm a Longhorn till I die, so Durantula for life. But yeah, that man is tiny, and he would not have survived back in the day at all.
IMAX says zone defense is allowed now. It wasn't back in the day. Yeah, you had to play your man. Now there are positives and lows. There's highs and lows, positives and negatives to zone defenses, but also you had to play man to man.
Yeah,
you had some. If your assignment was a certain player, you had to have that. Okay, shouts out to Chicago Gamer 945 ultimately says, what's overall lessons should that okay, I would make sure I wasn't reading this wrong. Like I was fucking dyslexic. I'm guessing what you're saying is what overall lessons should the NBA organization and teams take from this series? I'm hoping I'm discerning it right. Because did it seem like I was going?
That's right. The NBA organizations, I don't think they're going to take much. They don't need to take much from this. But what I do think is going to happen is when the NBA does show back up, these players are going to be playing harder because they're going to go, man, they just made us look like bitches. We need to get up there and work.
Now that I definitely agree with. I think the documentary is going to force all these teams to realize, we got to step our shit up. Mm-hmm. We can't just be a team that people just going to chalk up as a loss no matter what. Like we got to prove if we gonna lose, we win down fighting. If we gonna win, we gonna bust ass. I think the organization for the NBA as a whole, it has done what it's needed to do. It has expanded from, like they said, 80 to 210 countries.
Yeah,
the NBA is a global entity, a global brand. It is about more than basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's about a lot of community service, a lot of community outreach, helping out a lot of philanthropy. Also players that are coming up from everywhere. Like you're hearing the players from countries. You're like, what country is that? Well, it's tucked in the middle of Russia's asshole. And it's right by the taint of Iran. Countries like that you're hearing of, and they have these amazing players. Now, yeah. I think you're literally Googling what countries by Russia's asshole. I feel like you're doing that right now. But
I was trying to look up what our new superstar Luka. I can't ever remember where he's from. It's Slovenia, I don't know. But, you know, they come from all over the place, man.
Well, here's the thing, too. Slovenia. Randy Constance says he's from Slovenia, goddammit. But things like that. Also, Luka's deal now has changed it where a lot of your best players here are not going to start their careers in the league anymore.
No.
The high schoolers now are going international or G League because of the shit that's happening with the NCAA.
Yeah.
And especially with what's happening with Zion Williamson and the company trying to say, we didn't want you to apologize. First of all, Karen or Chad, whoever decided to come up with that shit. Like, we don't want any money. We don't want any restitution. We just want you to say, I'm sorry.
Look, calm down, Skyler. All right, look.
Why is that always your go-to name?
That's my favorite one to go to, man.
Always Skyler.
Because come on, man. His name, someone named Skyler. You know that someone named Skyler getting his feelings all hurt. He can't listen to the Mad Titan podcast because he all up in his feelings.
Skyler has that bowl type haircut. and
eat a mayonnaise sandwich.
He got a bowl type haircut. He got a polo that ain't even got the real polo horse or the Lacoste alligator on it. It's got a gorilla. And they're like, what the fuck is this? And then Skyler is wearing Team Jordans, the ones that no one cares about, the ones that just say Jumpman. Okay, if anybody is watching this right now named Skyler, I am so fucking sorry.
Skyler ain't watching this. It's past his bedtime.
Skyler can be 37 years old. Like, they're going to stop talking about my goddamn name. Jesus Christ.
Mom, they're talking about my name again.
Jesus fucking Christ, Mom. I told you Skyler was a bad idea. Like, how did you tell me, Skyler, you were a baby? God damn it, I told you when I was 6, mother. Like, ladies and gentlemen, here's where Jay goes on a Skyler rant. Shout out to Haskell 420. Hey, J and BC. Seeing all of those clips of games, thinking about today's foul calls, every clip has 3 to 4 fouls. Let them play.
Yeah, they didn't call them fouls back in the day.
Yeah, you had to be bleeding to get a foul.
Even when Jordan's bleeding, like, hey man, you're bleeding. All right, cool, let's go.
You look like you're missing an ear. Don't worry about it. Play through. What? Play through? Man, I can't hear you on this side. Shout out to Randy Constance who says, my little big bro is playing in Portugal and living like a king. I'm betting, first of all, you're in Portugal and you're black playing basketball. Of course, you better be winning. You better be. Imagine Harden in the 90s. Yeah, he had like 3 years of a career.
Facts.
James Harden would play for 3 years and be an assistant coach. Like, all right, so Tyler, come on. Tyler. All right, man. I've been on here way longer than I wanted to, and I just wanted to come on here in my Bulls colors hoodie and my Bulls hat. And then I realized it's 80-something fucking degrees outside, and I'm still hot. And I think the air conditioner's off in my apartment.
I'm not going to lie. These lights are freaking killing me, too. I'm sweating like hell.
Bro, these lights, these real good lights, these good lights, the one to make you see, because I'm a dark-skinned dude, but when I put these lights on, you can see all the chocolate, the caramel chocolateness, and then you can see the line. Yo, I've been training my goatee to get straight. Like, you can see that, and you see all the
training it to get straight. That's good. Since we can't go to barbers or nothing, you have to train.
I'm ball by choice. So all I got to do is go in the mirror.
I finally got to go to a barber, and then they were like, "Yo, we can't do beards." I was like, "Why the hell am I here?"
Why did you go to a barber to do your beard?
Man, I can't line that shit
How
up.
basic are you?
I can't line that up, bro. Come on, man. I'm fucking
line what up? You gotta have. You just need to go.
I normally do. I normally had a line in the fade and all the stuff. I couldn't do it, so I just took it all off. Went stone cold. Let's get up out of here, Jay.
I wanna thank all of y'all that stayed on and watched with me. Thank you to the homie BC for jumping in. I didn't plan on having him on here. I just like, yo, I'm gonna go live, talk about the documentary. You want to come jump on?
I had literally just finished filming mine, and then I picked up my phone. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll keep talking about it.
Oh, you filmed a thing about it. Okay.
I'm gonna edit it and upload it later this week.
Let me tell you something. I wasn't finna do all the editing, uploading shit. I got so much shit I'm doing this week, which, by the way, tell people how they can find you and what you got coming up this week.
Find me on all social media at RealJackassBC, RealJackassBC, YouTube.com/JackassNation, and the Jackass Nation on Patreon at Patreon.com/JackassNation.
I want to put this up before we go anywhere. Y'all record a new podcast soon. I need it. Well, here's the problem. BC now acts like he has a brand new job that, because he works nights now at his job. And so now he acts like he's too good for me. So when I text him, I ask him, he'd be like, hey, bro, I got to do all these podcasts. I got to appear on these shows. And man, I got to try to fit you in my schedule whenever I can, brother. You got to call my assistant. And I'll be like, fam, we've been rocking together for a while. Now I got to get your assistant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going to treat me like that? And we'll
record. We'll find time. I'm down.
He'd be like, hey man, listen, I understand. You gotta understand how this business goes. You know what I'm saying? People want BC. You know what I'm saying? I understand. Look, I appreciate your little Mad Titan podcast, but you know what I'm saying? People want BC. And I'd be like, hey, sir, I'm sorry for disrespecting you in your career endeavors. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean no harm by it. I just wanted to give the people what the people had asked for. So here's the way. Let me tell you this off jump, and I'm gonna tell you this out loud, and while we're live. My goal is to have a new Mad Titan podcast out every Thursday, okay? So I just did one that came out this past Thursday. So if you have any time between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning,
I've got any morning. Any morning works. I got training at nights, but any morning works.
What are you training for?
Bro, I am the world heavyweight champion, Jay, of the world. Not the city, of the world. Training. Training never ends, dog. Rent's due every day. Go put in work. The grind calls. What do? Hello? Oh, what's up, grind? Yeah, let's do this. Answer the call. You're the one that lets me keep talking. You ask questions. I'm going to keep going.
So I'm going to say this with all sincerity and love in my heart. And I'm going to look dead in the camera so you can understand what I'm saying, okay? If you're going to train and the grind's going to call, can you at least look like a wrestler and not some, high school standout who realized he couldn't get a career in the NFL? If you're going to train and be somebody in life, can you make sure you look like you actually care about your career? If you want to go ahead and be a wrestler, a world heavyweight champion, not the city of the world, Craig, be a champion that people can look down the street and be like, yo, that dude earned this spot. But instead, what you look like is what you do, is talk shit on the internet about movies and TV shows. And that, my friend, is how you cut a promo. Okay, so
I was about to go. Damn, that's a good promo. Okay. You got me. I'm gonna vote for his too, because that just won. I'm just saying, but I'm
gonna throw my title back on my shoulder. But listen, I'll hit you up after this and we'll set it up. Also, y'all already know the drill. Follow me Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington. If you want to drop donations and you didn't want to do Snapchat or you didn't want to do Super Chat because they charge you or whatever, Cash App. Let me show you something real quick. Show you how I'm living my life. Hold on. Bam. Cash App, Venmo, Super Chat, Mr. J Washington. It's all of it. Join the Supervillain Squad right there. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Why am I going to here's excuse me, here's the messed up part. I'm flicking the mouse over the cursor over it like y'all can see me doing the cursor over the
Bro, it's late, man.
It's late. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, y'all already know Mr. J Washington. The Supervillain Squad. I got a lot of discussions that I've started, and I just have thoughts on my mind, and I'll record them and put them up there for the squad to discuss. So go ahead and join that. I will be on Game Time with Winston A. Marshall and John Roca tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific. Blurs in the Hood this Tuesday is live at 2 p.m. We got a special interview with one of the showrunners of Harley Quinn on the DC universe. We're talking to Justin Halpern, and we just got confirmed we will be talking to the other two showrunners for an interview next week with them as well. So yeah, the showrunners of Harley Quinn like our reviews, which you should check on my YouTube channel right here. Okay, if you just subscribe. You should hit the subscribe button and also hit the like on this video, excuse me. So that's that the Mad Titan podcast, everywhere you get your podcast from. What else is there? That's about it. All right, that's about it. So I want to thank everybody that's rocked with us. BC, I appreciate you, bro. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later, or maybe probably tomorrow. I don't know. But catch me on Game Time. I'm out of here. Bye.